Are in the North Atlantic working to find a missing tourist submarine near the Titanic wreckage. We've just received word from ABC News there were 5 people on board this submersible. The search is taking place off the coast of Cape Cod. The U.S. Coast Guard is leading the search along with Canadian military and the Coast Guard. The company, OceanGate Expeditions, reported this submarine missing this morning. Again, we are just getting word there were 5 people on board. The company did say there were tourists on board, but until this moment, they really had not acknowledged how many. The company's website says its submarines can carry up to 5 people. OceanGate Expeditions say it is exploring all options to bring the crew back safely.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube.
Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, honorable praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakodash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles, a great millstone. Salutation to you, Archeans, pushing this word in sincerity and truth. This is your brother Yassad back at you with another lesson. Willing it edifying. So, as I say there, you know, a submarine missing along the area where the Titanic ship wreckage was, you know, and hey, you know, maybe it could just be that could be an appetizer for Leviathan, because the scripture speaks of Leviathan, you know, the sea monster, and we know Esau Edom knows about Leviathan because he knows that what is in the scriptures have proven to be true. Cause look, there's an article I'll just bring up quickly, you know. But before I get that, bear with me just a moment.
More than 1,500 people were years ago. In that disaster, more than 1,500 people were killed. Today, the Coast Guard launched a rescue mission 13,000 feet below the surface for a submarine carrying 5 people. It went missing during an expedition to the Titanic.
A submarine carrying tourists to see the wreckage of the Titanic has gone missing. The clock is ticking if there is any hope of finding the Titanic submersible.
This particular submersible is advertised.
Yeah, you know, maybe it could just be a altar appetizer for Leviathan. Because we know Esau Edom knows about Leviathan. But, you know, the Lord haven't given Esau Edom the capability to conquer Leviathan. Because the scripture say, who could draw him out with a hook? You know, we talk about the iron teeth and all these things. Let's see here. A quick little, you know, article here. It says, was Leviathan real? Scriptures describe Leviathan as the Titanic terror roaming the ancient seas. Was it real? And if so, what was it? Historical hints help answer these questions. The most complete description of Leviathans come from Job 41 and includes these observations. It lived in the sea but sometimes came on shore, had a scaly hide that deflected spears, was huge and terrifying, breathed fire, left luminescent wakes, and had a neck, nose, and a mouth with terrorizing teeth. From Psalms 104, we learn that Leviathan played around in ancient shipping lanes. These historical hints from the Bible refute the idea that Leviathan was a mythical creature that was being used as a literary metaphor. Metaphors don't deflect spears or scare the daylight out of onlookers. In fact, Leviathan must have really done these things for the Most High to meaningfully compare it to its own might. And we know Leviathan is a pet of Yahweh Shem Shai, you know. Identifying Leviathan as a myth smuggles in the destructive idea that anything in scripture could be interpreted as a myth. But since the Bible has proven itself through over centuries of scrutiny, the Leviathan must have really lived. And I will cut it there because Esau Edom know that the Bible, the thing written in the Bible is true. So who knows, he maybe have bounced up Leviathan, or even saw one or two, because the scriptures say he created both male and female, so we know it's gonna have little Leviathans all over about the place, right? Just as how it had animals was created male and female, so also would there be male and female in Leviathan, Bear with me just a moment. Right, precept to back that up, it's an of every living thing of all flesh, Leviathan is a living thing. 2 of every sort shall thou bring into the ark to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female. Wait, Salakia, I believe is another precept I'm looking for. Bear with me just a moment. Right, Salak. Here it is, it say, Genesis 1:24, it says, and Yahweh said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping things and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And Yahweh made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and the cattle and their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And Yahweh saw it was good. And Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahshua, he said, let us make men in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So Yahweh created him in his own image, in the image of power created he him, male and female created he them. And just as how male and female was created in man, same likewise in the animals and the creatures, so same likewise would be, with Leviathan, it must have a male and a female, even in pipe fittings it have a male and a female. And the Lord said, a just, a unjust, a false weight, and a false balance is an abomination. So obviously Lord would set a balance by making male and female, right? Article, it says submarine on expedition to Titanic wreckage missing with 5 aboard, search and rescue operation underway. The search and rescue mission was underway Monday for a submarine that went missing in North Atlantic on an expedition to explore the wreckage of the Titanic. Right. The U.S. Coast Guard in Boston first confirmed to the news that personnel were currently undergoing a search and rescue. Well, that is it on that one, Maybe this missions could be another play or a appetite for Leviathan. Because it describes, I'm gonna go into it, Psalms 104. And 25. Let's see. So is this created? Right. So like this here was the precept I was looking for. Right. It was Genesis 1:20 where it said, and Yahweh said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures that hath life, and the fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And Yahweh created whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly, and after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And Yahweh saw it was good. And Yahweh blessed them, say, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the sea, and let the fowl multiply. So how it is the Lord would create creatures in the sea, and it had no female how would it be able to be fruitful and multiply? So there is a lot of leviathans out there. Alright, let me go to now the Psalms 104. Psalms 104 and 1. No, sorry, 104 and verse 25. It says, so is this great and wide sea wherein are things creeping innumerable, both small and great beasts. There go the ships, that is that Leviathan whom thou madest to play therein. Because we just read the article that Leviathan is along the, he does be playing along the ship, It said, these wait all upon thee, that thou mayest give them their meat in due season. Yeah, so we know the Titanic with about 1,500 people on board. Leviathan had a play. Because hey, they are big creatures. But right, Leviathan is big creatures. They give the description in the book of Job, but we'll fly through in a bit, right? Let's see. That thou givest them, they gather, thou openest thy hand, and they are filled with good. Yes, so the Lord feeds Leviathan now and then, so the Leviathan would play in the ships, and these are big, strong creatures, so it's obvious they would mash up those ships. Job 41. It says, canst thou draw out Leviathan with an hook, or his tongue with a cord that thou lettest down? So Leviathan is a big monster. You can't try to use a hook to draw he out. Just like how they'll catch a big shark and thing with a palang. Canst thou put an hook in his nose, onto his nose, or bore his jaw through with a thorn? Will he make many supplications unto thee? Will he speak soft words unto thee? Will he make a covenant with thee? Will thou take him for a servant forever? Will thou play with him as with a bird? Or will thou bind him for thy maidens? Shall the companions make a banquet of him? Shall they depart him among the merchants? So could they be able to play with Leviathan like a little bird? Or could they conquer Leviathan where they could cut up the meat and a Leviathan and sell on the market? Because Esau Edom, he vile. He even eats raw meat. So, and he eats anything. When you go up on a lot of these different channels, Esau Edom going out in the forest for days and surviving on all different creatures. It says, shall the companions make a banquet of him? Shall they part him among the merchants? Canst thou fill his skin with barbed irons, or his head with fish spears? Even the thermonuclear, the missile not going to do Leviathan anything. It says, lay thine hand upon him, remember the battle do no more. Behold, the hope of him is in vain. Shall not one be cast down even at the sight of him? So, hey, they describe the terrifying local Leviathan, just as in the article that we read. None is so fierce that dare stir him up. Who then is able to stand before him? Yeah, quite a precept in Job that Job 3 and 8, who could rouse him up? Job chapter 3 and 8, it say, let them curse it that curse the day who are ready to raise up their mourning. So that's not it. I'll leave that out, Salakia. I'll leave that out. Right, continuing, let's see, who had perverted me that I should repay him. Whatsoever is under the whole heaven is mine. I will conceal his part, nor his power, nor his comely proportion. Who can discover the face of his garment, or who can come to him with his double bridle? Who can open the doors of his face? His teeth are terrible round about. His scales are his pride, shut up together as with a close seal. Because, hey, look for instance, Godzilla. They use the description of Leviathan to come about with the beast Leviathan. Alright? Because when you look at the description of how this made Godzilla, sharp iron teeth, skin very tough, being able to take a nuclear missile dead on without being harmed, you know. It say one is near to one another, that no air can come between, you know, like a arm on the body, the scale of this beast. Alright, it say they are joined one to another, they stick together, that they cannot be sundered. By his sneezing a light doth shine, and his eye are like eyelids of the morning. Out of his mouth go burning lamps and spark of fire leap out. I mean, let me take a quick clip of Godzilla.
Pistol smoke, I'm the kind of nigga little homies wanna be like, on my knees in the night, saying prayers in the street light. Been spending most of the night living in the gangster's paradise. Been spending most of the night living in the gangster's paradise.
So yeah, you know, he spits fire out of his mouth. It's out of his nostril, goeth smoke as out of a seething pot or cauldron. His breath kindleth coals, and a flame goeth out of his mouth. Isn't not the description of Godzilla Leviathan? In his neck remaineth strength, and sorrow is turned into joy before him. The flakes of his flesh are joined together, they are firm in themselves, they cannot be moved. His heart is as firm as stone, yea, as hard as piece of another milestone. When he raiseth up himself, the mighty are afraid. By reason of breakings they purify themselves. The sword of him that laid at him cannot hold, the spear, the dart, nor the habergeon. So none of these weapons can hurt Leviathan. He esteemeth iron as straw, and brass as rotten wood. So they see the way the strength of Leviathan, the might of Leviathan that the Lord created. But he say he created all the creatures, the waters, even on the land. And 2nd Ezra 6. And 49. It say, thou didst ordain 2 living creatures, that one callest Enoch and the other Leviathan, and didst separate one from another for the 7th part, namely where the water was gathered together might not hold them both. Unto Enoch thou givest 1 part, which is man, which was dried up. I think Enoch means wise one. The 3rd day that he should dwell in the same part wherein a 1,000 hills, which is earth. But unto Leviathan thou givest the 7th part, namely the moist, and hast kept him to be devoured, of whom thou wilt and when. Yeah, so whenever, as it say that the Lord does feed Leviathan, I will bring back the Psalms 104, right? So now and then Leviathan got bites. Psalms 104 and 26, it said, there go the ships, there is that Leviathan, whom thou hast made to play therein. And he deems iron as straw. So to eat up and mash up these ships is nothing to him. These wait all upon thee, that thou mayest give them their meat in due season. So that 1,500 people at the Titanic destruction, that was lunch. That was just a little appetizer. You know? Just a little appetizer. Right? Well, that is it just upon that, you know. Lord willing, this was a defiant. Shalom to you, Archems out there. You know, double honors unto the elders and apostles, a great millstone. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Akakudash. Until the next one, Shalom.